What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Laser Source Podcast. It's the #1 podcast if you like finding lasers. I've got a brand new tool for you. Yeah, got a brand new tool for you on the MakeArmy website, and I am excited to share it with you today. After you find your laser, though, you may need to find laser blanks, and that's where our sponsor comes in. It's Johnson Plastics Plus. If you guys are looking for stuff to engrave, they are the absolute #1 place online to get started with that sort of thing. They've got just about every kind of normal blank that you could ever hope to ask for. Everything from drinking apparatuses to items used to decorate Christmas trees. I mean, you name it, they've got it. And they're actually reasonably priced, and you can get them even cheaper with the discount code down in the description. It's YLR ZDF. Saves you up to almost 15% off. It saves you up to 15% off almost everything in the store. So if you want to support the channel and you want to support our sponsor, great company who we've been buying from since before we even had a YouTube channel, check out the link in the description. It really does us a solid, especially with the holidays coming up. And I know you're going to love shopping with them. So shout out to Johnson Plastics Plus. That said, you may be looking for a laser. And if you are, I've got a brand new tool to share with you guys today. Did I show this to you already, Kyle?
I got a little peek.
Got a little taste of it.
A little taste. Yeah.
So you'll notice here on the MakeArmy website, and let me make this big for you. It's not listed. There's nothing here. You don't see anything related to the buying guide. Laser Finder. We have the regular link to the buying guide here. I actually haven't listed it yet, so it's not up here, but there is a direct link in the description if you want to play around with it. I'll probably be adding this tonight. It'll go in the utilities section down here. So if you want to follow along, there is a link in the description of this video. And it's very simple right now, guys. I have plans on making it a little bit more in-depth, but this is kind of the prototype right here. It's the laser type finder. So answer a few questions, and we'll suggest the best laser types for your work with clear use cases, materials, and cautions. No product pitches, just guidance. So this actually, I saw the conspiracy jokes in chat. I saw those guys. But hey, we are not recommending specific machines here. This is mostly just to give you an idea of what kind of laser you should be looking for. And something about that is that, I mean, it's probably the most asked question of all time. Wouldn't you say, Kyle? It's got to be close.
Absolutely. Yeah. Top 3 for sure.
Top 3 for sure. So we're trying to build a little something so that you can kind of get that question answered on your own. Again, it's really simple right now. I hope to make this a little more in-depth as we go, but this is a really solid proof of concept. So let's just take a look at some of our options here. Materials, obviously, are going to play a massive role in whatever it is that you're trying to purchase. So the materials are going to weigh heavily on that. So let's say we're going with we need glass and we want wood. Okay, so those are the main things that are important for us. Technical operations, so this will be like, what are you trying to accomplish with that? Maybe fine engraving and photo engraving sounds good. We can list our part size here. So let's say we want small stuff with high detail, and we don't need to do a lot of it. We're working on quality, not quantity, and we've got a higher budget. And once we have all of these things selected, we can click Get Recommendations, and here we go. So top recommendation, the UV, ultra fine marking and engraving on plastics, glass, and ceramics, low heat affected zone for micro features. And it actually will give you some reasons specific to what you answered as to why it thinks that the UV is ideal. It gives you some ideas for what it's best for, its preferred materials. And then it gives you some warnings. I need to fix the formatting on this. I don't love those colors, but things it'll go ahead and give you some warnings that you need to be aware of. Typically lower power, not for thick cutting. So smaller working areas, things like that. And you can also see some community settings or suggest new settings for the UV laser while you're in here. If you're taking a look at this and you happen to have settings for that laser, I just thought I'd throw some quick links in there. You'll notice there are literally no links to actual products in here. That could change in the future if that's something people wanted to see. I didn't want to necessarily include it out of the gate because I don't want it to be an ad. I do want it to be useful. So right now it is its kind of standalone thing, but I could add like suggested products from the buying guide. That would be fairly trivial. You can also see it will suggest an alternative to you. So it kind of gives you like a second best. And then it gives you a comparison of laser types here. So it'll give you, more of an idea of like what each type of laser is used for. You'll notice diode is not on this list. I did not program diode in, and I hope to circle back around and add that in the near future. So right now it's short on diode lasers. So I'd like to get that integrated as well. And then down at the bottom here, we've got 3 more links. So we can either start over, supply some new answers to see if it changes our recommendation at all, or just head back to the buying guide. So we can click start over and it takes us right back to the beginning here. So that is the laser finder. It's really simple. It's at makearmy.io/buying guide, buying-guide, in case you're listening, /finder. And I will have a live link to this before it gets updated on the makearmy.io page sooner than later. So hopefully that helps you guys. I'm looking forward to seeing what people think about this, because again, it is at the very least one of the top 3 questions we get asked on a daily basis. For all you guys in chat right now that are here live, if you're a Discord regular, I'm hoping this will be useful for you to throw at people when they come into the Discord asking what kind of laser to get. So maybe it'll save you some typing too. Hey, why don't you save everybody some time and fill out this form real quick and then come back with questions? I'm sure you're going to be able to use it that way on the LMA too, Kyle. Yeah. So that's it. That's the laser type finder. There it is. The other thing that I have done, I don't think that we've actually talked about this on the podcast yet, but the other thing that I've done that the Discord guys, again, will probably have heard about by now, is that we do have setting submissions live on the database right now. So if you have any settings that you'd like to share with the laser community at large, you can click submit a setting. If you click that button, it will identify where you came from. So we came from fiber, but this target can change depending on the page that you entered from. And I'll demonstrate that really quick. So if we go back here, I will head over to, let's see, where are we going? Let's go to the UV library instead. So we'll go to UV settings and we can submit a setting. And it knows you came from the UV page, so it'll default to that. But you can switch this live, so you can go ahead and select any parameters here. And it's fairly smooth. I will just take a moment to walk you through what all these parameters mean. I may want to add a note to just like below the, each params field to make it a little clearer what they are. But really quick, this is the title of your setting, title. So we'll just call this your mom, and uploader. So this was uploaded by your mom. The results photo is the photo of like what that mark looks like for you. So we can go ahead and just select a photo. It doesn't really matter. Any photo for now will do for this use case. And then we have a settings screenshot, which is optional. So if you have a screenshot of like your Lightburn config or whatever, and you want to share that just to make it easier for people to copy, you can add that as well. Menu. Sorry?
Like the cut and layer menu?
Yeah, like the cuts and layer menu. Yeah, exactly. So you can share that as well. A screenshot there. Should have come more prepared with actual examples here. Notes. This is a note field, and it supports markdown. So you can include markdown in this box if you want to. If you have a lot to say about your setting, you can organize it a little better using markdown. It doesn't display markdown yet, but this form accepts it. So you can write your markdown now, and then when we have display support for markdown, it will display that markdown in the setting field once you add it. So if you do add things right now and you're a markdown person, this has support for that. The materials menu, this is important to go over because it's a great example of the filtering here. So filtering isn't live. When I click the filter, the drop down goes away, and that kind of annoys me. I wish that it stayed up or was all in one, and that's something that I need to work on a little bit because I don't really know how to build that yet. But the filtering does work. So if I type steel here, and then we drop this down, you'll get the results. That includes steel in the name. So you can use the filter, and that applies to anything that has that filter type box there. So you can go ahead and use that to reduce these rather large lists to something more manageable. So stainless steel color, I made color mandatory because settings can vary pretty wildly, especially on fiber, but for other lasers too, like if you're doing tumblers, right? Like a red tumbler on fiber is going to have completely different settings from like a blue tumbler. In this case, we're talking about a stainless steel setting in this example, and you do have the option colorless, so you can select colorless as an option. Opacity is also mandatory, okay? Red transparent acrylic is going to cut much differently from red opaque acrylic. Now, this is steel, so it's opaque. There's no transparent or translucent steel, so we'll select opaque for that. The laser source selection field is tied directly to our laser source database. So anything that shows up in the laser source database will show up in this list. One cool thing is that depending on your target, it will adjust automatically the list of laser sources that you can see here. So you don't need to sift through a bunch of CO2 sources if you're submitting a fiber laser setting, which I really like too. So for now, we'll just pick the 30 LP. You also get a selection of lenses with the F numbers included. So this should keep selecting a lens nice and simple. So we'll select a lens. Material thickness, this isn't a cut setting, so I'll put 0. But if it is a cut setting, you could put a material thickness here because that is relevant for those cut settings. For focus, and this is probably the most confusing one, guys, 0 is in focus. Okay, so if you're not adjusting focus off of your norm, you're going to put 0 in this box. If you put a negative number, that's focusing closer. So we're reducing the focal height. Okay, if we put a positive number, we're focusing further away. So we're adding to that focal height. So if I put +3 in here, or just 3 rather, we don't really need the negative. If I put 3 in here, then you're going to raise your scan head 3 millimeters above whatever, you know, in an example, your focal stick would say. So you're going to go 3 millimeters higher. If I put -3, we're going to be moving 3 millimeters closer than what the focal stick would say. And this does accept decimals as well, like floats. So you don't need to put an integer. You could put 3.25 if you were certain it was 3 1/4, and it will accept that value. So you can put whatever you want in that box. Repeat all is a global repeat, right? So down here we have what are called repeaters, and we can make as many fill settings, line settings, or raster settings as we want. Repeat all is how many times to move through everything listed below it. If you don't have to repeat these, so like let's say we're not doing a deep cut or a deep engraving, it's all just going to run once, then we can just set this to 1 and move on. Because again, this is required. So 1 would be the default value where you aren't going to repeat things. It's just going to run through everything one time, and then that's going to be that. From there, you can pick the right kind of setting. And depending on the type of setting that you're adding, it will change the options that you're looking at. A common combo, if you're going to do more than one of these, is like a fill and line, right? You want to do a fill, and then you want to do a contour around it. you can add both of those now in succession as part of one setting, which was something lacking from the old buying guide. Here also we can see we have different types like bidirectional, unidirectional offset fill. So we can put that in there. I'll just call this fill 1. You can input your frequency. So let's say it's like 45, pulse width of 200, a power of 45. Your speed is 300 millimeters a second. Your interval, again, decimals, floats are supported here. 0.025 is fine. One pass, a scan angle of 45 degrees. Your increment is the increment angle for auto rotate. This should say auto rotate. That's another like kind of bug that I'm going to need to fix here because that just says auto right now, which is confusing. But if you are using auto rotate, increment is by how many degrees you're auto rotating. You've got your crosshatch, flood, and air assist if you want air assist. So those are all options for you there to help really lock in your setting. We can say we don't need line settings for now, but if we did, you can see we've got perforation settings in here, and we've got tab settings as well. So if you're doing perforations or tabs, you have those settings available to you. And I'll try to make that menu a little bit clearer right now. It's just kind of raw data at the moment. And I'd like to make this a little more streamlined because it is confusing just looking at perf, cut, skip, pass, step, size, because those are things for wobble, perforations, and tabs, just kind of all listed out. So I'd like to give those settings some kind of categories to get them separated. Additionally, in the raster settings, one of the biggest differences is that there is a dither selection option. So you are able to select a dither option as well. Things like halftone cell only really apply if you're selecting the halftone dither. So otherwise those could just be left blank. We also have a checkbox for inversion if the image needs to be inverted on the material you're working with. Once that's done, we're ready to submit our setting. We'll hit OK. And it doesn't like something. Let's see what it doesn't like. Software. I did not choose a laser software. This again is right out of the database, so you can pick from a huge list of softwares. I'm sure most people are just going to pick Lightburn, but if you did do something in like LaserCAD or Laser Gerbil or EasyCAD, those options are available to select as well. For now, we will just select Lightburn. Let's try to submit again. And there you go. Settings submitted. You got the green check mark. Your fiber submission has been received. And now if we go to view the fiber database, we'll see right here in the recently added your mom. And there it is with my picture right here of the results. The one thing that is not being displayed right now, just so that we're all on the same page, is that screenshot image. Remember, I uploaded that screenshot image. I have confirmed that did submit successfully. So that screenshot image is there. It's an issue with the display, not the submission. So that's on my short list of things to fix too. And then, so we've got kind of our global settings up here, kind of our setup. And then down here, we have the individual settings for things like fill, raster, and line. And so you can see there could be like a bunch of different fill settings, right? This could be just fill 1, fill 2, fill 3, et cetera, or maybe it's fill and line. So, you know, however it is that you kind of have that run, that overall setting organized, that will be reflected in these little cards down here, which is great because it gives you the opportunity to mix and match different types of settings for a workflow, not just a singular setting. So if you have, a fill pass for like a deep engraving, but then you have like a steel white finish that you want to clean that up with in order to get a certain look, you can include both of those now and then show the final result here so that you can show other people what that's going to look like. So that is that. This has taken a very long time for me to do, and I hope that you like it. Where's RDWorks? I have Ruida control panel here, but not RDWorks. So maybe we should get RDWorks added in. Though It's been a long time since I've actually seen somebody with a real RDWorks question. But You know, a lot of these are pretty obscure, so we can definitely get RD Works added as well. So that's it.
I don't know if you want to show an example, but I also added last night when I was testing this another setting too.
Oh yeah, sure. We can take a look at that. What setting did you add?
Head back, and it's black on gold leatherette.
Black on gold. Yeah. So here we go. Oh yeah. So there you go. So you've got your nice picture there. The pictures are completely uncompressed. They're always stored lossless, so that you guys can zoom in and see the full size of the image. By the way, so they'll never be like tiny little images. We will supply those images at the maximum resolution that they're provided to us. And you've got a nice setup. You left some good notes in here for us. We've got your laser information, including your lens, the repeat all set, your in focus, and we've got some real values down here as well. So
yeah,
that looks great. That looks really good. So that is what is up with that. And I hope that that helps you guys. Again, these all reflect immediately, so you can see your mom was added right away. There's no waiting period. You can just drop settings in at any time, and they will show up live. So if you want to, you know, contribute to like maybe the super sad CO2 Galvo settings page that only has one setting by Kyle for Quark, you could do so now, and those changes would be reflected instantly. And again, the links to all of our settings databases are at MakeArmy.io. So that is it for website updates today. I hope that you guys find that useful. And if we have any questions, Kyle, we can jump into those and kind of see what we got going on. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
Well, Marianne said she's a little scared to use the new laser finder and have it recommend everything except the actual laser she has.
That is a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, that's the ultimate. You're in the right place for that. Clayton says, "Everyone, please smash that like button." Heck yeah, man.
Oh, indeed.
And how come massive slab of steak isn't under materials?
Well, we didn't really do the steak. We did the bones, but I should add bones. Maybe bones is there. I don't know.
I admittedly did not look for that.
Let's check the material safety database. So this is the database that material list is based off of. It's all interconnected. So if we type bone, natural materials right here. So bone is there. So you could insert a parameter for bone if you chose to do so.
We should add the maybe the setting that you did, that killer like dinosaur bone.
Oh yeah,
for the steak.
And I don't know if you guys know this too, but one of the things that we added in the most recent version of the settings, the community settings library, is hyperlinks to the materials and coatings that the setting is for. So if you find a setting for something you want to mark, but you want to see if it's safe, you can click Slate, and it will actually pull up other Slate settings for you, and it should, and it's not. It's searching back to the fiber laser settings. So I guess that's something I want to add too. There should be a link here in this list on this particular card, which I will add now that I'm making note of it. That'll take you to like the safety page for that material. So that's something I'd like to get added as well.
Question: if you click on the source model, does it bring you to all the settings for that source?
If you click on the source model, it brings you to all the settings for that source. Yes, indeed. Which I think is great. I would also like a link to the information about that source. I think would be handy too.
Yeah, maybe.
As like a secondary thing.
Yeah. I think way that I was like pretty stoked.
Yeah, I get what I was going for. Like, oh, Slate, what other settings are there for Slate? And then you get a bunch of Slate settings, and that's cool. And it works the same way, I'm assuming, for things like lenses, which are also clickable here. So that is also a thing. So 300 by 300, so you can see a bunch of settings for 300 by 300 lasers and things like that. What you can't do is mix and match them, but you can I don't know. I'll have to work. I definitely want like some better like kind of sorting and organizing. I'd really like to be able to select a material and then maybe select a source and select a lens so you can try to find exact matches. Even though there aren't like a ton of settings in these databases right now, and that's something I'm hoping you guys, the community, can help out with as we go forward. Because as these libraries grow, being able to sort by multiple things or filter rather by multiple things, that may make a difference. I'm kind of curious if I do slate and then I paste in the source number. No, yeah, it's not going to do that.
Maybe
So yeah,
comma.
yeah, it breaks. It doesn't like that. So that'll be on my to-do list too. That's on my list of improvements.
Nice. Directed text said they noticed that the cautions are in white text in a white box, and they have to highlight it to read it.
Indeed, that does suck. I have a commit that's ready to push for that right now. That will hopefully help out with that. Because it doesn't look particularly good on my screen either. Yeah, there. So you can see that. I think that I mentioned that. So that is fixed. It's just not pushed yet. So I'll be pushing that soon. And then that should be updated. I think it's going to be red with white text when it's done.
And Andrew said adding some filter options, and you'd need like a fuzzy search. But yeah. And then off topic, but Cuban says just got set up with his Omni X. Finally got a UV laser.
Nice, tight.
Nice, Bronson. Keep it up, bud.
That's a good one. I just recommended that laser to somebody today during a coaching call.
Yep. Yeah, looking good.
Yep. So that's what I got for today. That's my main update. There we go. I have a cat with me. Otherwise, episode stuff. We've got what have you guys, let me know in chat. I know you guys aren't newbies and it doesn't really apply to you yet, but I'm curious if you've watched the Ultimate Guide to Laser Processing episodes that we've been putting out, how you feel about them. Do you feel like they're high quality? Are you annoyed by it? Is there good info in there? What do you think about them? We recently published, I think the last time we did a podcast, we didn't have any of the source identification episodes out, and now we have 2, the fiber and the UV. So I'm really curious about feedback on those. They don't have a lot of comments, and I wasn't expecting a lot of comments because it really isn't meant to be the kind of episode that you drop and it blows up overnight and then drops off. They're kind of like search friendly episodes. So people that have a specific question, this provides a specific answer. But I'm still curious about what you guys think. You guys are like our biggest fans, that listen to the podcast and come to the live shows. So I am curious what you think about them if you've taken the time to watch them. Coming up, we have identifying sources for both CO2 glass tubes, CO2 RF tubes, and diode laser modules. And then the next run will be installing light burn. So we're actually getting into like light burn and using the software and things like that. And the entire guide is going to be published on 2.0.x, whatever it is. I think 2.0.03 is out now, right? So, we'll update as we go along, but I'm trying to make this on the most recent version so that they are as up to date as possible. But yeah, so that's what's coming up for me. Also, I got the Ortur R1 showed up at the shop today, which I took a picture of the box and I was going to make a post to YouTube, but I didn't get a chance to actually record anything today. So I'm excited to unbox that tomorrow. So if you guys like unboxings, somehow the Ortur R1 looks even smaller than the Algo Pixie, which is, dude, the box is like literally the size of my head. Like, I don't know how I'm assuming there's padding in there. So it's really, 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 really small. And that got me kind of more excited to open it up. It doesn't have the like console interface that the Pixie has, so there's no like onboard OS. You're just sending data to it, and it's executing whatever you sent. So it doesn't have that edge to it, at least not that I've seen. So it's going to be interesting to see like just how small this thing is without any of those electronics. But it's just based on the box size. It's very tiny, so. I am looking forward to opening that up too. And then Rhiannon just finished an episode. It's her last episode before she goes on vacation for 2 weeks. I'm going to kill myself. She just finished. Jackie asked us for our Johnson Plastics Plus episode this month to do an episode about her patches. So we made a bunch of hats. I bought like a huge box of hats, and we actually heat pressed like patches onto hats, which is everybody's like snore, boring. This is the first time we've ever done that in the shop. I've never used a heat press to put like a patch on something before. And she did a really great job and it came out super nice. So I'm kind of excited for that episode to come out too. Mostly just because that's not something we've done, even though like everybody, my cat's touching things, everybody in the laser community has done that before me, but it's still our first time. So I'm kind of stoked about it. The patches are kind of big for the hats. I wish they were just a little bit smaller, but they're still really nice. They look great on like a backpack or an apron or something. And I think they sell smaller ones on their online store too. So I might ask Jackie about that as well. But that's kind of the upcoming stuff right now.
Good stuff.
Yep.
I love leatherette and the cutouts, and then doing batch cutouts and then batch engraving them is fun.
Yeah, the cool thing about this episode was like they're pre-cut, so they just like you buy them kind of like ready to go from Johnson Plastics Plus, and then you just mark them and then press them and you're done. So that's kind of cool, and they have some like nice shapes. And one of the nice things that's kind of hard to do when you're doing the cutouts on your own, like if you have just a big sheet of leatherette and you're just cutting them out, is they have kind of like that faux stitching around the outer border as well.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a nice look. It makes them feel a little more.
It cleans it up.
Yeah, so you get that too. So it's a fine episode. I don't love making the sponsored content, but I do like seeing the ideas that Rhiannon comes up with for the projects for those. So it's a neat little episode. If you're curious, that'll be coming out sooner than later because it's due by the end of the month. So.
I kind of gave myself some homework. Well, sort of gave myself some homework this week. So tonight after podcast, I'm actually going to be doing golf balls on the fiber.
I tried to do that a long time ago, and I feel like I melted it.
Well, whether it works or it doesn't work, it's happening.
Did you like take a job for it?
No. So off the LMA, somebody was asking for help with it. At least as a starting point. So I kind of took it upon myself to try and make it happen.
My biggest problem when I was doing them, and I didn't do a lot of them, I'm sure I could get it better, but they just yellow very, very, very quickly. Like, I mean, you just like look at them the wrong way and the whole thing's covered in like a layer of yellow grease, which kind of sucks. So warning, it might be a UV over a fiber, but you know, try it. Yeah, try it. I'm interested to see what you come up with.
I'm gonna try. That's what the person who's asking about it has to work with is a 60-watt fiber. So I'm gonna try and make it happen on that.
Yeah, cool.
Jack said he put one golf ball under the fiber and bad things happened. Well, was it one of the kind that explode into chalk?
Dude, I really don't think you're supposed to be putting like a golf ball under a fiber.
Probably not.
What are golf balls made of? Synthetic rubber core, and a durable cover made of Surlyn and ionomer. Oh, it's resin or urethane. Interesting. Those are two very different things. A resin or urethane. It's like fine and inconvenient and like
not good for you.
Yeah.
It's either really bad or really irrelevant.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, we'll see. That'll have to be a caution I include then.
Yeah.
Marianne says, I think you've hit the right ratio of info length on the videos.
Yeah, it's been hard to balance, and I really don't like making short episodes, but they get watched so much more, I think, in the long run than like my super deep dives. So I've been trying to make shorter content to appeal to a wider audience with a shorter attention span. It's been very, very difficult and frustrating, but I'm glad that you feel that way.
Yeah, the reality is if we make all of our episodes 45 minutes to an hour long as a deep dive, like the photo guide, for example, 80% of the information in that gets overlooked. And we can see the statistics behind the scenes where people are skipping through. And then we also see when people ask questions about stuff that's answered in the video, we know exactly where they skip through. So it's cutting stuff down to length that's bite-sized and consumable is a challenge on both sides, right? We want it to be digestible, but to the point, right? So
yeah.
Mike says not the biggest fan of the kitschy 80s VHS theme, but the content has been solid and useful.
I'm gonna dial that back anyway. Miranda doesn't like it either, so fuck me for trying to be creative. I like to do a little art here and there, but I'm the only one who likes it, and I understand that, and I accept it, and I'm not salty about it. So heard.
And directed tech says they also have the R one in for testing as well.
Yeah, nice.
R2.
I don't.
And the app is apparently needs work.
I don't feel like I haven't opened the box, so I don't know. But the R1 and the R2 sound like they should be two things in like a similar family, of like devices. But I feel like they don't look anything alike. Like I feel like they're completely separate devices. I got to take a closer look at it. I'm excited to open the box. The R2 is beautiful. I really, really like that laser, at least on the outside. And I've only done that kind of like impromptu unboxing for it so far, but just the build quality just feels really, really good, and I really like the design of it. So that's kind of gotten me.
I don't actually have any context for what kind of machines they even are.
The R2 looks like a kind of like a, I don't know, like a Raleigh-matic, but like cheap.
Okay.
Really quick, I'll pull one up, but I wanted to share this with you. So I found this MSDS from DuPont on Surlyn or whatever. It's that resin shit.
Yep.
And all this mentions is that small amounts of hazardous gases and or particulate matter may be released that may irritate the eyes, nose, and throat. Large molten masses may give off hazardous gases, stable under normal conditions. And so I went back over to section 5, which is the firefighting section. And let's see, where is it? Section 5 is right here. Hazardous gases produced may consist of, and then it just says carbon oxides, which doesn't sound that bad. But I don't know if that's the whole story or not.
That seems like an incomplete list to me.
It does seem like an incomplete list to me as well. It says odor acrylic-like. And I just don't know. I don't know enough about this material, and I'd like to probably read more MSDS. Oh, here we go. Oh, well, it's just methacrylic. I don't know. Maybe it's like an acrylic base. Corrosive. Causes severe burns. Acute inhalation toxicity. I don't know. I'll have to look and see if I can find one from another manufacturer, but
yeah,
I wouldn't take a bath in the stuff.
No.
Hey, at least your balls are safe. Toxicity to reproduction assessment. Methacrylic acid. I'll have to look this up too. But what were we talking about? Sorry, I got distracted.
The machines.
Oh, yeah, sure.
The R1 and R2.
So, yeah, the Ortur R2, which strangely came out first. The R1 came out after. Yeah, the whole thing is weird because you'd expect the R1 to be like the little brother or the first version or something along those lines.
Maybe it's just longer.
Yeah, Directed text in the comments saying they're completely different. So it's like not even that kind of a situation. But here's the R2, which again, hey, look, the R1's up for sale. So here's the R2. God, I hate these. And the R2 is just like, it's just like a simple little all-in-one. It's got a little like console on it, so you can like deal with things that way, which I have not explored, and I am clueless about its capabilities. But it's just not, I just like it. Like I like how it looks sitting on the floor in the showroom. It's kind of cool. Ooh, 3D render. And then the R1 is over here, and it looks like the Pixie. It looks like an Algo Laser like Pixie knockoff.
That is it's a top down versus bottom up clamshell.
Right, and so is the Pixie, but the Pixie has a huge console. It has that same kind of console interface on it, which lets you do a ton of stuff, including just running jobs disconnected from a computer. And this doesn't have that. That's like a huge thing that is missing from this. So this is not like a standalone device. It does require being hooked up to a machine, at least to do anything other than repeat marking. And even then, I'm not sure if that's the case. But again, it's very, very small, smaller than I think maybe the Pixie. I'll have to take some pictures side by side to see how they kind of stack up size wise. But yeah, so as you can see, Directed Tech is correct. It's saying they're completely different machines.
I'm with you.
And it's weird. It's weird that the R1 came out second. I don't understand that, but you know,
maybe just machine tooling for some of the parts just didn't come in on time on the R1 and it delayed release or something.
I don't know.
We'll never know.
That's what I got on that.
I've been ordering parts in this week for one of the major build out issues I've been having on the new home shop.
What's the issue?
Just certain materials I want to use for enclosure building and other stuff. And my credit card has been crying for dear life with all the purchases recently. So
yeah,
but that'll be done soon. And
are you you're in your new house right now, huh?
No,
this is a basement.
I'm in my old shop. Yeah, machines are still behind me. I haven't moved it.
It just looks so bright down there today.
It's the camera angle. I have a makeshift camera mount that is very abnormal. So
I'm excited for you to move the lasers. I can't wait to see it.
That will be happening soonish. I have to finalize a couple things with the exhaust still before I want to move anything over. Otherwise, I'm stuck. But I'd rather not break down a functioning work area to move it to a non-functioning work area, right? But all of that will be finalized hopefully soon.
Sure.
Directed text said, I was told that you can put an IR laser from the R2 on the R1 though. That's cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. They did send me that IR module, so I have that as well to play with.
I didn't realize it had an IR.
Yep.
I knew they had IR modules in general, but I didn't realize that was like it came with it.
Yep. Good one.
Nifty. How did the oh my god, I'm having a stroke.
Sorry.
How did the that bone thing end up working out in the shop too? Did that end up stinking when you did that?
I don't know. I don't smell anything anymore. I think I've like completely damaged my olfactory organs, so I don't really smell much of anything anymore. But it definitely was not like clean, fresh air, you know.
That's fair.
I'm doing research for blue snow Mannix question here. That's what I'm working on.
So just got here. My Acme 48 watt crapped the bed, looking for a new laser under 2500, either diode or CO2 with camera. All I have left is a Lumos. Any suggestions? Ooh.
Yeah.
You got some options there. I mean, 2500 that's a lot for a diode. For a CO2, it would be a little limiting, but you could make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want to do with it? You had a diode before, so do you want to keep having a diode? Do you need more cutting power than the diode offered, or did you like the detail that you were getting out of the diode laser modules? Were you okay with how long it was taking to run jobs on that kind of machine?
I would say if you're doing like a 48 watt, I would assume you're doing some level of cutting with it. If you're doing more cutting than anything, or you want to incorporate like a more heavy duty rotary, I would move to a CO2 in that case, because you could get like a 60 watt CO2, which just because CO2s come in higher wattage it's not like a apples to apples comparison when you compare diode wattage to CO2 wattage. But you could get I think it's like a 16 by 20 machine from Umtech. It might be a 14 by 20. I don't remember, but it's a desktop size, and it comes with like it's a standard stamped steel enclosure, but it's like not humongous. You could fit it through like a doorway, and I want to say the machine cost came in at like 2,100.
Mm-hmm.
Would with a chiller should put you right around like the 2,500 mark, I would think. They also have a 12 by 20 if you wanted to go a little bit smaller, but I figure that like that size range, it puts you a little smaller than 400 millimeters in one direction potentially, but the other direction you're bigger. So you're kind of trading one direction for another, and it's got pass through, I'm pretty sure. So that might be a pretty decent option. Let me, I'm going to pull that up. That would be my vote if you do a lot of cutting.
I have quite a few recommendations stacked up. I'd ask, like, do you really need the camera? Because there's a lot of really good, like, simple gantry-based diodes that are super mature on the market right now. And those don't have cameras, but they're rock solid machines, so if you're okay with not having the camera, that would expand my recommendations, I think.
Yeah, that's fair.
I love these like dead air gaps where Matt would normally be like running off on like some kind of crazy tangent. Matt has an explosive, I mean, just painful, horrible case of diarrhea right now, which is why he can't join us tonight.
True.
But he'll be back next week.
Yeah. So let me share my screen.
Yeah, you go first, and then I'll have a screen to share as well.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. So this is what I would probably do, right? Like if I was,
My bad. That was my bad. Sorry. There you go.
This is probably what I would do if I was like, if I wanted to limit it to $2,500 and, I needed like a CO2 machine that could do cutting and maybe have like a dedicated rotary setup.
Sure.
Kind of whatever multi-use case, desktop size. The benefit to something like in this realm of size is you don't have to have massive doors to get it into your work area. Mm-hmm. And you also don't have to rotate it probably onto its side either. This is a pretty small machine by comparison. So comes in at $2,300 on sale right now. I am logged into a business account, which is why it's showing up weird, but it should be the same with a coupon code maybe. But you already have Lightburn, I'm assuming. So you should be good to go with that. As long as you have the Pro, you should have DSP control. It's got a standard DSP controller on it, so nothing crazy. It's already hooked up with an air assist. All you would need is a chiller, and because you're at $2,300 now, so you're probably looking at you can get like a $350 5200 equivalent from like Alex, help me out. What's the name of the company in California?
Light Object.
Thank you. My brain. Yeah. They sell the 5200 equivalent or the 5000 equivalent with the refrigeration unit in it.
Yeah, it's the Q1600.
Yeah. I think that comes in at like $300 and the higher model is like $450 or something. So you're right in that ballpark range. So yeah, I'll drop you a link to this in chat in a minute.
And those can also be retrofit with Lightburn camera very easily.
Yeah.
Here are mine. So again, like the Reno would get you in if you're tight on space. I don't know what your space is. I actually really like this laser. I've been working on the review for it, and it's going to review pretty well. I have all of these panels stripped off right now. It's like literally stripped down to bare metal, like just the steel chassis. And it's actually a pretty nice little machine. The only thing I don't love about it is the top wisdom controller, which is a little weird when you've been working with Ruida for so long, but it's fine. It's serviceable, and it is a DSP. So if you're tight on space, this might be a good option too. It's definitely doesn't have the vertical travel that Kyle's does, but so far I've really, really liked it. And I don't get a lot of CO2 lasers in the shop because nobody wants to ever ship them to me for reviews. But this is one that I've actually had my hands on, and I have been pleased with it so far. So something like this might be a good idea. It definitely leaves room in the budget for your chiller setup, if that's something that you want to make sure that you're staying on top of. Also, just some common standbys. I really love the Laser Master 3. I use it all the time. Pretty much every episode where we do diode work as part of a project, this is the laser getting used, and it does have a 40-watt module available with it, and that is under budget for you. I believe this also comes with an enclosure but doesn't have the camera, so you wouldn't be getting the camera on that. You wouldn't be getting the camera on the Reno either, so that would be a Lightburn camera situation on the Reno. With this, it's probably not worth the fuss. I would just use this cameraless. There's also, just while we're talking about it, the Algo Laser Delta is super cool because you can run jobs on it without it being connected to anything, which is something that I really value because I hate having to connect a computer for things that I've already run on the laser before. And this one you'd be way under budget, but it sounds like you've already got some other diodes coming. Since you have the WeCreate Vision is also on that list. It's fully enclosed. It's got a motorized Z-axis, which is super cool and works really well. The bummer here is that it's unidirectional scanning as of right now, but the last I talked to Lumos, WeCreate, they said they were working on it like they did for the Lumos. So I believe, at least according to what I've been told, that is something that we will hopefully see down the road. I wouldn't promise you that and tell you to run out and buy this right now if that is going to be a major problem, but this does get you the camera and the full enclosure, and I like everything else about the machine besides the unidirectional scanning. And then I just saw this too. Ortur has this H20 unit that looks like it's fully enclosed and has the camera as well, and you can pick up the 40-watt unit for $2,000. But if you really are looking to move out into CO2, then I would probably be paying attention to the two CO2 options, just depending on footprint. If you have the vertical space, obviously get, I think the one that Kyle was looking at, the OhmTech, would be a good option. If you don't have the vertical space and you really need something low profile on a desktop, the Reno, so far I've been really, really pleased with it. Neither of those options are going to be coming with a camera for you, but both are easily retrofitted with a Lightburn camera, and you can have that set up in a day. So that would be a pretty good kind of compromise machine. You're not getting anything incredibly nice. That's kind of the one warning, whether you're getting an OhmTech or like one of the mom port options, they are probably going to need a little elbow grease and a little TLC to get them dialed in and running, to their full capability. And so just be aware that you may have to put a little work into them to get them to be running, excuse me, sir, to get them to be running at 100%. That doesn't mean they won't work out of the box, but they could be better. And getting them better, is going to take a little effort on your part. And that's fine. That's just part of where you're at budgetarily, right? That's just kind of a byproduct of that. If you're spending $10,000 instead of $2,000, we would be looking at some different options that might not need quite so much work. So,
yeah, with the OhmTech, you kind of hit on it too. You don't get the camera. If you absolutely need the camera for what you're doing, maybe you don't need the camera for what you're doing. Is I guess what I'm saying. It might make your life easier. But if it's worth saving a bunch of money, maybe having a good beam combiner instead might be worthwhile and potentially less of a headache to set up.
Or you could upgrade the tube too. You could get one of the SPT like TR series tubes, and that kind of just instantly gives you a beam combiner, which is nice without any of the headache of
aligning it,
setting one up. Yeah. Or modifying your machine. I mean, that when you introduce a beam combiner, that whole mirror number one assembly has to get.
You could do a different style of beam combiner that mounts on the wall,
like more like inline one rather than like a corner one.
Yeah.
I haven't really messed with those.
The main benefit to something like that is it will never affect your beam alignment.
Sure.
For the normal beam. You might just have to shift it to match, but
I see Blue Snow's also asking, what did you think of the 45-watt Pro Vision? That was the one I was thinking of. The Visions are great. Chris Gallagher is saying bidirectional has been released. I think it has been released for the Lumos, the WeCreate Lumos, but the last time I checked
on the gantry, as far as I know.
I have not seen it on the gantry yet.
If it is, that's cool.
Yeah, outside of the bidirectional scanning issue, I love the Vision Pro. I think it's an awesome machine. I think it's built incredibly well. I think it's super intuitive. I love the size, the weight, just everything about it has been excellent. The light burn compatibility is on point. WeCreate's Make It software is fine. It's, it's not like it doesn't blow me away, but it's usable. And I can't ask for much more than that at the price point. So I'm a really big fan of the Vision Pro in general. I really, really like it. I just hope that they come around to wrapping up work on bidirectional scanning for their gantry lasers as well. And like I said, the last time I talked to them, it sounded like they were working on it. They didn't promise me it was coming. We didn't have like a very clear conversation about it, but their tone about it when I asked about it gave me the impression that it was something that they were working on. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed on that one because I'd love to use those machines more. I just wish it didn't take twice as long to run everything on that machine. And it's a diode and it already has long run times, which is frustrating. So hopefully we'll see an improvement there soon because I'd love to circle back around to those machines. I really did enjoy the limited use that I've put into them so far.
I found a more cost-effective option. I'm sending a link.
Okay. What is it? Should I pull it up? Are you sharing it?
I'll share it. I don't care.
I'm curious now.
I broke my screen share because I closed the window, but
excellent.
There we go. It's several $100s cheaper. So check that one out. It is quite literally the same bed size, and it's red instead of blue. So,
it's the blue one sold by the Omtech store on Amazon. That's weird. What's the difference?
Direct.
I feel like the blue ones typically had motorized seat. God,
they're both manual focus.
They're both manual focus.
Yeah.
Interesting. Why? Why is the blue one cheaper?
Manual focus. So autofocus is 2,700. Manual focus is 23, and then this one is manual focus as well.
Check the dimensions.
There you go. Manual focus.
I know they have the same bed size, but like, is the blue taller or maybe or?
$44.9, $30, $25. It is a little shorter. So if you're less concerned about Z height, then I guess it might be worth several $100s of savings. So there you go. Another value add potentially.
Yeah. Nice.
There you go.
I can't. We're at an hour already. That flew by.
Yeah, it did.
What's up, old man?
Samson's like, I want my pets now.
This cat's a bag of bones. He doesn't want pets, dude. He wants to eat. He wants to shove food into his face.
That's fair.
He's a hungry boy. Do you guys have any info on the One Laser Vertigo? Asked Stacy Turner. Is that the tumbler engraving machine? That's the tumbler one, right? The Lens Digital tumbler one.
Yes, that's the vertical.
I don't have any info about it. I saw a video of it running. Thought that looked neat.
Yeah.
That's about it. I've not done like a deep.
The only info we have on it is the info we gleaned from the little trailer video that went out. That was
the little trailer video that we watched.
No insider details.
It's a cool idea. I don't know if I want one. I just don't do that many tumblers, and if I did, I feel like I still would want, unless I absolutely had to do a full. I don't try to do full wraps. I don't think they're cool. I think they're a waste of time, and I don't often think people are willing to pay what they actually should be paying to get them done. If I can have the CO2 Galvo do a tumbler in, like 27 seconds or whatever, and cover the front half of it and have a customer walk away with that and feel happy about it, I'd rather do 80 of those in the time it's going to take to do one full wrap on something like the one laser. I'm not saying it's not a cool idea, and I'm not saying it's not effective at what it does. It looks pretty effective at what it does, but I just don't do enough tumblers for me to be like, I need a machine specifically to take up a machine's worth of space to run full wraps on a tumbler, because that's the only reason I could think I would need that, is if I was going to do full wraps all the time. And
I don't even think it's just a full wrap. Even if you were doing like a 2-sided engrave where project mark by itself wouldn't be effective, because now you have to incorporate a turn. But like,
I mean, why can't you just project mark one side and then flip the cup over and project mark the other side?
Let's say you wanted to walk away and do another tumbler completely on another machine. But my point is like, you have a vertical machine, which you now can't lay stuff down to cut stuff out, right? So like the whole multi-use case of a gantry is that you can use it for rotary, you can use it for cutting, you can use it for engraving. So now if you have it vertical, all you can do is engrave on a rotary with it, because you're not going to stand stuff up and cut stuff out on a vertical axis, because that would be horribly not a good thing to do. But so like you use your secondary use case, you lose your secondary use case of it, but it would have to fulfill a different need somewhere, right? So like it needs to take up a lot less space, or it needs to be exceptionally faster than a CO2 Galvo, which can do the same job effectively, or something, right? In my mind. So I just don't think I know enough information about it to really make an effective call on that. Like if I was looking at this and I was going to invest in something like that, I would want to answer that question in my head. What does it do that something that pre-exists doesn't already do?
Yeah, Michael's saying it's useful for pots and urns and anything cylindrical that may be difficult on a rotary, I guess, in a situation where you're like fighting gravity, and then you don't have to fight that anymore because the chuck is now holding the part up like in line with gravity instead of like against it sideways, which I get. I just don't know if I do that enough either to like, I just don't feel the desire for it. So maybe I'm just not doing the right kind of work. I may not be the target market, and that's okay too. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just don't know if I feel excited about it personally, because I don't know if it does anything for me.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Mike said he saw an interesting modification kit for Galvos that lets you turn your scan head on its side. You can already do that.
Yeah, you can do that.
You unbolt 4 screws and rotate it, and then put the screws back in.
Yep, it's
you don't need a kit for that.
You don't need a kit for that. Light is not affected by gravity. You can point that thing, point your scan head any way you want to. And
if you wanted to engrave ceilings, you could do that. You
could do that.
Flip it 180 and send it.
Just get a 100-watt glass CO2 tube and jam it into your CO2 Galvo, and then flip the head upside down and put an 800 millimeter lens in it. Bam.
Which, fun fact, I found a 1152 millimeter work area lens for my CO2 Galvo.
Wow.
The dot size would be enormous.
It would. Indeed. It's like, and I say this, I feel like a lot, but it's like those lasers that you use to like pre-wear denim, like wear down denim jeans and stuff, the ones that have like the holes in them and stuff. They use like huge lasers with huge scan lenses on them to do that kind of stuff. And it's pretty neat to watch. You guys should look at the YouTube video of it because it's kind of cool.
That's all I got.
That's all I got too. Just scanning chat one more time. I think that's it. We were here, we were gone. hopefully you enjoyed this episode of the Laser Source podcast. I know that Matt's not here to never shut up, which is, his role, but Kyle and I are still here trying to keep things lively, albeit technical. And you guys can catch us here every Tuesday at 9:00 p.m. EST. I hope that you guys are getting value out of the new tools. If you are excited about them, hit the like button, leave a comment after the live stream is over, and let me know which tools you are most excited to use, whether it's the laser finder or the return of the submission forms for laser settings. I'm really excited about both of those things. I'm particularly excited about having the submission forms back, because that was something we used to have and had for a long time. That's how those libraries were built. And to have them again is a huge weight off of my shoulders personally, because that's something I've wanted to bring back for a long time. So if you've got it in you, if you're feeling generous, go drop a setting for other people to use that you've developed for your laser, because there's probably somebody else out there with a very similar setup that could use that setting desperately. And, we're all here because we are trying to help each other out. And I think that's something we all agree on in the Laser Everything community. So this is a great way to do it. And I am looking forward to watching those libraries grow over time. Also, keep an eye on the laser finder. I am going to update it as we go along. I'm going to add more options. I'm going to add more use case scenarios and things like that to try to dial in those recommendations and make them even more useful. So that's something I'm really excited to work on as well. We've got a brand new episode coming at you on Thursday. We've got the patches episode coming out soon with our first ever heat pressed item. So that'll be an exciting episode. If you're not already in it, join the Discord. Everybody gets tagged every time something goes live. But I think that's all I've got. You got anything else, Kyle?
Nothing else from me.
All right, then I think we're going to call it tonight, guys. But thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Laser Source Podcast, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.